did Jesus have a secret family? You know, we all grew up with the traditional stories, but what if there's more to the story, more than we've been told?
Yeah, you know what's wild? The Bible itself actually hints at a whole family life for Jesus. Like, Mark 6.3 specifically names James, Joses, Judas, and Simon as his brothers. Even mentions sisters too. Wow. It's like finding a hidden note in a book you thought you knew by heart. Something people just kind of gloss over.
It really makes you wonder why, doesn't it? Why would something so clear in the Bible be almost ignored throughout history? What are they hiding?
Right, that's the question that sends us down this rabbit hole. For centuries, the image of Jesus has been one of pure divinity, above all earthly matters.
Sure.
And maybe, just maybe, acknowledging a human family made him a little too relatable.
You're saying a Jesus with siblings, with family dinners and arguments might have been a little too human for some people?
Exactly. And for an institution that's all about establishing authority, a human Jesus might not have fit the bill.
So by making Jesus purely divine, those early church leaders could hold on to their power.
It's a theory. I mean, a Jesus who's only divine is easier to make the ultimate authority.
Right. Someone whose every word is law.
Exactly.
But think about it. If we say, okay, Jesus did have a family, it changes everything. Our whole view of his life and his teachings takes on a whole new dimension.
Oh, absolutely. And nowhere is this clearer than with James, Jesus' brother. He became a leader in the early church in Jerusalem.
Wait, hold on. Jesus' brother was a big deal in the early church. That's not something you hear every day.
It's true, and it raises more questions. Like, if James's connection to Jesus was so well known, why downplay it? Why not use that family tie to make the church stronger?
Unless, of course, a Jesus with family didn't fit the image they wanted.
Yeah. Maybe a human Jesus was a threat to the system.
It makes you think, huh? And it makes you wonder about the other figures in Jesus's life. Like, what about Mary Magdalene?
Mary Magdalene.
Most people think of her as the repentant sinner, right?
Right. But are we only seeing part of her story? When we look at texts that aren't part of the Bible, they suggest something much deeper between her and Jesus.
Wait, are you saying Mary Magdalene was more than just a follower? That they were closer, like romantically?
It's a possibility that's been debated for centuries. And while we gotta be careful with these other texts, they give us a glimpse into a different side of the story.
So we're talking about something that could change everything. Our whole view of Jesus's life and the early church.
We're going right to the heart of it, questioning everything and exploring ideas that might make some people uncomfortable. But hey, that's what a deep dive is all about, right?
Right. Uncovering the hidden truths, even if they shake things up a bit.
Exactly. So these other texts, they're often called the Gnostic Gospels. They offer a whole different take on early Christianity, written around the same time as the regular Gospels, but they didn't make it into the Bible.
Interesting.
And some scholars think that's because of how they portray Mary Magdalene. Like it challenged the power structure of the early church.
So we're talking power struggles, different versions of the Jesus story, and maybe some information was deliberately hidden to keep control.
Yeah, it's like a historical puzzle. And the Gnostic Gospels add a whole new layer to it. Like, in the Gospel of Mary, she's a close confidant of Jesus, like privy to secret teachings the other disciples weren't.
Wait, so you're saying Mary Magdalene knew more about Jesus' teachings than the apostles? That's a pretty big claim.
It definitely challenges the traditional story, right? And the Gospel of Philip, another Gnostic text, goes even further. Hints at a special relationship between Jesus and Mary Magdalene, closer than any of the other disciples.
Wow, we're really getting into uncharted territory here. This is a very different Mary Magdalene than the repentant sinner we usually hear about.
Exactly. And that difference, it makes you wonder, right? Why would the early church leaders downplay Mary Magdalene's role and leave these other perspectives out of the Bible?
If you think about it, a powerful woman close to Jesus, maybe even his wife, playing a big role in the early church. That would have been a radical idea back then.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Could have threatened the whole male-dominated hierarchy they were building.
Exactly. Remember, this was a patriarchal society. Women were supposed to be subservient. Mary Magdalene, like she's presented in the Gnostic Gospels, she would have disrupted everything.
So by getting rid of these other accounts, shaping the story to fit their own agenda, those early leaders silenced a potentially powerful voice, a woman's voice in early Christianity.
It's something to think about, right? It shows how important it is to look at history from different angles. When we explore these non-canonical texts, we get a much deeper understanding of just how complex and controversial those early days of Christianity really were.
It's becoming clear that the story of Jesus and his followers is way more nuanced than we often think. It's like we're peeling back layers of an old painting, finding hidden details and patterns.
Exactly. And what makes it even more fascinating is thinking about how this hidden family, how it could change our whole understanding of faith.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that. How does knowing Jesus had a family, that he was human, how does that change how we view his teachings and Christianity as a whole?
Well, think about it. A Jesus who understands family dynamics, who knows what it's like to have complicated relationships, he offers a much more relatable path to faith, don't you think?
Yeah.
It challenges this idea of him as this distant, purely divine figure, gives us a more human, a more compassionate view of the divine.
So instead of a God who's removed from our everyday struggles, we have a Jesus who knows what it's like to be human, to love, to lose, to feel joy and sorrow.
Exactly. And his teachings on forgiveness, love, sacrifice, they take on a whole new meaning when we see them through that lens. It's not about being perfect anymore. It's about accepting that we're all human, embracing the messy reality of life.
It's a more grounded, more relatable way to approach faith. Instead of dogma and rules, it's about empathy, understanding, human connection.
Right. And that's a message that really speaks to people today. In a world that feels so divided, so polarized, focusing on our shared humanity can be incredibly powerful.
So embracing the idea of Jesus' human family, it doesn't make him less divine. It actually makes his message stronger, more accessible, more relevant to us.
It's about recognizing the full picture of who Jesus was, divine and human. And when we do that, our connection to his teachings becomes so much deeper.
It's like we're seeing faith through a new lens, a lens that focuses on the human experience as a way to connect with the divine.
Exactly. And that change in perspective, it can be transformative. It helps us see that the divine isn't separate from us. It's within us, in our ability to love, to show compassion, to connect with each other.
It reminds us that we're all part of one big family, connected by the things we all go through, the good and the bad. And that can give us strength, hope, inspiration as we navigate life.
It's about finding those sacred moments in everyday life, recognizing that spark of the divine within each of us, embracing the beautiful mess of being human. That's the real legacy of Jesus, the human being, the teacher, the brother, the son.
We started this deep dive asking, did Jesus have a secret family? And wow, what a journey it's been. We've uncovered hidden histories, questioned the stories we thought we knew, and in the end found a more human, more relatable, maybe even more powerful way to understand Jesus and what he taught.
It's a journey that encourages us to keep searching, to keep asking questions, to dig deeper and find those truths that are hidden just beneath the surface of what we believe. And as we explore, we might just find a more real, more meaningful connection to our faith and to that divine spark within all of us.
So we've been digging into this idea that Jesus had a family, right? Something that really challenges the traditional view and makes us see his life and teachings in a whole new way.
Yeah.
But how does this change this understanding of his humanity? How does it impact our faith today?
That's the big question, right? I mean, it's one thing to uncover historical facts, but the real value is in how those facts shape our beliefs, our relationship with the divine.
Let's make this practical then.
Yeah.
How does recognizing Jesus' human family make his teachings more relevant to our lives now in the 21st century?
Well, think about the struggles we face today. Family conflicts, relationships, loneliness, trying to find meaning in this crazy world. These are all things that Jesus, as a human being with a family, would have understood. He lived it.
You're saying he wasn't just some distant figure preaching at us. He was right there in the trenches, facing the same challenges. And he can offer real guidance because he gets it.
Exactly. His teachings about forgiveness, compassion, love, they become so much deeper when we see them through the lens of his human experience. It's not about reaching some impossible ideal of perfection. It's about accepting who we are, embracing the messiness of life.
It's a more grounded, more relatable approach to faith. Not about rules and dogma, but about empathy, understanding, connecting with each other.
Absolutely. And that message, it resonates with people today. In a world that feels so divided, focusing on our shared humanity can be a powerful force for good.
So by accepting that Jesus had a human family, we're not taking away from his divinity. We're actually making his message stronger, more accessible to us.
It's about recognizing the whole picture, divine and human. And in that, we find a deeper connection to what he taught.
It's like we've been given this new perspective on faith, one that focuses on the human experience as a way to connect with the divine.
Exactly. And that shift, it can change everything. It helps us see that the divine isn't out there somewhere. It's within us. It's in our capacity to love, to show compassion, to connect with each other.
We're all part of one big family, connected by our shared experiences, our struggles, and our triumphs. And that can give us strength, hope, and inspiration as we go through life.
It's about finding the sacred in the everyday, seeing that divine spark in everyone, embracing the beautiful mess of being human. That's the real legacy of Jesus. The human being, the teacher, the brother, the son.
We started this deep dive with a question. Did Jesus have a secret family? And what a journey it's been. We've uncovered hidden histories, challenged what we thought we knew, and in the end, found a more human, more relatable, and maybe even more powerful way to understand Jesus and his message. So to our listeners out there, keep searching, keep questioning, keep exploring. This journey of faith, it's a lifelong adventure, and there's always something new to discover.